Welcome home, Cojourners. I'm glad you're here for another episode. I'm Dr.Thema, licensed psychologist, ordained minister, and sacred artist, here to help facilitate your journey back home to yourself. I am so glad that you're here and hope that you give yourself gratitude and appreciation for investing this time in your healing, your wellness, your growth, and your empowerment. I like to start our episodes with a poem, and today's poem is by Dr. Jaya John. It comes from his most recent book, We Birth Freedom at Dawn, Volume 1. And it is an excerpt from Ashia, a soft story of pilgrimage and peace. And it reads, For the first time in her life, Ashia tasted the spice of what it felt like to exist as a sacred thing. Her old anxieties and their artifacts of rushing, racing, and panicking were a faint and distant form on a far horizon, walking away from her. Ashia performed ceremony in her heart. She said goodbye to her old stories and began to feast on this new spice of sovereignty. As meadow held her in its many affections, Ashia became the most tranquil water. She changed to mist and back to water again. She was learning a new way of being. She smiled at her discovery. As love coursed through her, mending, Ashia quietly laughed herself into a deep, peaceful permission to flow in a boundless and beautiful way. She became ceremony. Her fragrance blessed all living things. Yes, 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 yes. It is my hope and prayer that each of us would grow and evolve and heal so that our very fragrance, that our presence will be a blessing. And on today, we're going to talk about tranquility. Tranquility is a sense of calmness, of inner peace. It is a decision to not live an inner noisy life, an inner violent life. It is a decision to shift out of high stress and high reactivity and being perpetually triggered, and instead to be in a place where we are rooted and grounded. It is to be in a place where we have an understanding of ourselves that helps us to not be easily blown by the various winds of life that we encounter. And especially in this season and in this climate, nationally, globally, locally, there are many winds blowing. There are likely also many winds blowing in your family life, in your financial life, perhaps even in your physical and mental health, as well as within your social circle. And so with all of the storms and all of the winds, all of the difficulties, when we come to the place of saying, peace, be still, that I not only speak peace to my outer world, but I speak peace to my inner world, that I declare and decree peace over my body temple, over my spirit, my heart, my mind, my soul. And as Ashia did in the story I just read, we change the story that we have told ourselves. Sometimes our stress and worry is not merely about what is happening around us, but the ways in which we have interpreted those events to be shame-inducing, to feel hopeless or powerless, or to feel insignificant. And I want to invite you, as we journey toward a tranquil life, to consider the stories you've been telling yourself and to give yourself permission to tear up scripts that no longer work, that do not reflect the truth of you, and to begin to speak truth over yourself, to speak truth over your soul, your heart, your mind, your spirit. What are the toxic stories, the untrue stories, the abusive stories that you have been fed by those you know, and perhaps even by strangers or even by the media? And what are the stories that speak to the truth of you, the worthiness of you, the possibility of you, the authentic living soul within you? And so for me to have tranquility on today, I need to release the old scripts and old stories and begin to tell myself a new story about what is possible for me and what is sacred and necessary for me. In order to live from a tranquil place, I also have to come into alignment with acceptance. There are some things which are simply truths and facts, and even if I do not like them, I need to first acknowledge that they exist. So many of you within the United States have probably heard the phrase, no justice, no peace. So when we say that we are trying to have a tranquil life, it does not mean that it is a life where I ignore difficulty or where I ignore problems or oppression or trauma. It means that I have to first get to a place of inner calm and inner strength so that I can do what I can about the issues that need to be addressed. So you will begin to shift on the inside so that you accept the reality of what we are facing externally. And from that place of inner calm, you will have more clarity about the solutions, the directions, the ways in which you can be empowered to dismantle what needs to be dismantled and to build up what is more just, what is more compassionate, what is more honoring of you and of those around you. And so acceptance can be very liberating because we end up in bondage when we have told ourselves lies, or when we are operating in denial, or when we are minimizing the challenges that are happening within us or around us. And so what are some truths that you need to accept on today? Sometimes the truth can be not only global issues or national issues. It may be the truth about your relationships. It may be the truth about your health. It may be the truth about your finances. It may be the truth about people you love. So how can I shift into inner calm on today by accepting the truths, even the truths I did not want to know, even the truths I did not want to believe? There is a freedom, a release, a sovereignty, a liberation that comes from accepting the truth. And so as we journey home to ourselves and as we try to create that inner calm, I make a commitment, a vow that I will tell myself the truth and that I will live from a liberated place of truth. And that acceptance allows us not to have to fight ourselves. Sometimes we have inner battles, inner warfare, because we are struggling to reject the things which are true. And so we go into acceptance about the reality of our inner and outer world and invite tranquility to come with that truth. We also get to a greater sense of calm by being intentional about slowing down in our responses and our reactions so that we can literally stop. I like to use the phrase sacred pause. And so instead of getting worked up when you are triggered or when you become aware of something, when your knowing is awakened about an issue, I give myself permission to breathe and to take sacred pause and then to make decisions from an empowered, calmer space. That when I am reacting from a triggered place, from a panicking place, from a desperate place, I am often not grounded in my wisdom. And when I make decisions that are unwise, it creates more difficulty for me. It is tumultuous. It creates a lot more anxiety. It creates a lot more fear. It creates a lot more disturbance inside of me and around me. And so can we be honest on today about the times that we responded quickly? And if we had taken sacred pause before we said what we said, or before we did what we did, our wisdom would have shown up. We know some things, we just sometimes move outside of our knowing. And so in this new season of your life, as we hold on to the desire for inner calm and peace, tranquility, we give ourselves permission to not be reactive, but to be sacred in our decision making. And that sacredness will include our pause and sometimes a full stop before we go in any direction. So to not allow ourselves to be a puppet, to be moved, to be swayed, to be distracted, to be worked up by the people or things around us. And that includes the 24-hour news cycle. That includes social media. That includes people in our social networks who have controlling or dominating or bullying habits. And so I give myself permission to breathe. I give myself permission to pause. I give myself permission to reflect. I give myself permission to slow down. I give myself permission to be gentle with myself and to have the time and spaciousness to get to a place of inner calm, and from my inner calm to be able to move with wisdom, based on all of the lessons learned from my journeys over the years. I get to make a new decision. And so do not allow yourself to be rushed or hurried. Do not allow yourself to be pushed and pulled. Stand in your sovereignty and slow down so that you can get clear on the inside about what you want to do on the outside. Another part of our path toward tranquility is for us to counter the myths about our emotional lives. Sometimes we are so contained emotionally that creates the distress. When we are fearful or anxious about our own humanity, that can cause us to be worked up, and it creates additional emotional and intellectual and spiritual labor for us. If you are free enough to not be boxed in, where you feel you must be a machine, or you feel you cannot feel your feelings, then a lot of that inner turmoil can come down. I begin to acknowledge my feelings without judgment. So whatever you have been feeling in this season, to release the messaging that says you're not allowed to feel that. So if I am depressed or grieving or angry or worried, and then I add to that a judgment that says it's not okay for me to feel that I'm supposed to be stronger, I'm supposed to be smarter, I'm supposed to be wiser, I'm supposed to, all of the shoulds, that creates an inner war. So I do not have tranquility when I am so harshly judging myself. And so on today, we make a commitment to embrace our humanity. And a part of my humanity are my feelings. And when I let myself feel without judgment, but instead with gentleness and with compassion, then I invite tranquility in along with anything else that I'm feeling. I can have inner calm and still have an emotional life. So many times we have falsely been taught that to be a tranquil person or a peaceful person or a mature person or a wise person, that somehow that would be a heartless person. And I want to let you know that when we feel we must freeze our hearts, we are signing up for inner warfare. Because your heart is a living, beating, moving thing. A heart is a big part of our humanity. And so I wonder if you can acknowledge on today some of what you have been feeling and to respond to yourself with understanding and tenderness instead of judgment, ridicule, or rejection about what you have felt. If I can get to a place of tenderness with myself where I know perfection is not required, then I can come into alignment that allows me to have that inner peace, that allows me to be more at home within myself. And so we get to a place of embracing our emotions and our hearts. We get to the place of taking sacred pause and stopping before reacting or responding. We get to a place of acceptance. And all of these things can help us to have greater tranquility so that we can be grounded and at home with ourselves. Another aspect of tranquility is beginner's mind. In beginner's mind, which is an aspect of mindfulness, I give myself permission to learn new things. Sometimes we are having turbulence internally because we are expecting ourselves to know everything and to know how to do everything. And so we are stressed out simply about what we don't know or what we aren't great at or things that are a challenge for us. But with beginner's mind, I'm able to be curious and open and therefore teachable so that I can learn. And there are some things that either we weren't exposed to or they're just more challenging for us to learn than perhaps others. And I give myself grace and permission to learn, to understand that with time and with practice and with dedication, I can improve and I can grow. That where I am today is not the end of my story. And so I get to be a beginner as I learn, as I heal, as I develop, as I grow. And from that openness about what I don't know, I'm able to invite in that tranquility. So I don't get overwhelmed because I don't know something, that I don't have to be stressed out because there are some things I really haven't developed the skills for or the knowledge for, but I'm learning. I wonder if you can proclaim that to yourself on today. I give myself permission to be a work in progress. I give myself permission to learn, to grow, to heal. I know that there are areas of knowledge, of skills that I don't yet have mastery over, and that's okay. I love myself for where I am, and I love myself enough to work on myself as I continue to grow and to learn. And you think about the areas of your life in which you have felt you needed to have it all together. And can you give yourself permission in this season to be at peace for the unfolding, for the blooming that is happening in your life? And a part of the blooming may also be shedding. So I may be losing some things to make room for new things. I may have lost some things, and that was a part of my learning various lessons. I may have lost some things that needed to go so that I could grow. And so I see myself in the process, and I appreciate the journey of the process. I am so excited about your decision to claim or reclaim your tranquility. And I invite you in this moment to inhale in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. And inhale in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. I invite your soul to tell your heart, mind, body, and spirit, welcome home.